Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now we all know that the condo market is rough. The condo market is down. The condo market is cold, but units are still selling. In actual fact, we just sold this tiny little unit we have on Shooter Street. It's 370 square feet. I mean, yeah, okay, units are moving on a long enough time horizon. Every unit will sell. But sometimes I look at listings and I say, why hasn't this sold? That, folks, is going to be the subject of today's Pick 5. Now, I've chosen 5 listings, and I decided to do one in the 300s, one in the 400s, one in the 500s. You know where this is going, but I'm going to finish. One in the 600s and one in the 700s. All of these are units that made me think, why isn't this selling? And some of them are ones that have a reason, and some of them are ones that don't. So without further ado, let's take a look, and we're going to start, of course, with the one that is in the 300s, if you can believe it. And so I look at this, folks, and I think Stewart Street. Now, when I was younger, and King West was the nexus of the universe as far as young people are concerned, you had Portland and you had Stewart. That was effectively the center of King West. That was the nucleus. King and Portland. I believe it kind of still is. But from a real estate standpoint, when you saw Stewart or Portland, you knew that it was big money and it was going to sell. So pay attention to this, guys. 38 Stewart, unit 507. We're listed for $395,000. It's been on the market for 4 days. And when I say, why hasn't this sold? I'm going to show you the listing history in a moment. Now, what is it? It's a 1-bed, 1-bath. Okay, well, it has no locker, it has no parking, has no outdoor space. And you're like, David, I can see why it hasn't sold. But look, guys, it's 480 square feet. So on a price per square foot basis, guys, this is $823 per square foot. That is less than replacement cost. To build this today for a developer, it's probably $1,100 a foot. You could buy this for less than replacement cost. In fact, what I would say is that at market peak, 480 square feet in this building was probably selling for $575,000. And here we are now at $395. I never thought I'd see the day. So guys, the unit's not huge and there's not a lot of photos, but let me show you what I can. This is the building here. Not a huge unit, right? It's tenanted, it's got lots of clutter, but try to see the forest through the trees. We have a 9-foot ceiling. We've got a big picture window. Yes, there's a building across the street. And no, we don't have outdoor space. We've got floor-to-ceiling glass. We've got what is effectively a newer unit. We've got a decent layout. This isn't a bachelor either. You would expect for $395 you're getting a bachelor. You have your couch, you have your TV, and then you have your bedroom and a S-ton of balloons. So it's not a bachelor. It's 480 square feet. It's a real 1-bedroom. And I just never thought I would see this price point again at $395. Now the maintenance fees, guys, that's it for the photos. The maintenance fees, they're $532.92 a month. That's $1.11 per square foot. Now that's a lot higher than average, and it doesn't include parking. But again, I'd rather pay a little bit more per month and pay a heck of a lot less from the acquisition price. Now, this is the Thompson Residences. So you have the brand name. And I mentioned Portland and Stewart, the Thompson Residences. I can't tell you, if you're new to real estate, what it was like, you know, this building from 2016, but what it was like near market peak, 2019, pre-COVID, 2021, 2022, oh, the Thompson Residences. And here we are sitting at $395,000. Now we're listed for $395. I mentioned it's only been on the market for 4 days, but take a look at this, guys. They listed for $595 in June of 2022, $568 in 2023, $499 in 2024, and now they're at $395. I'm not saying anyone can predict the market, but they've basically done the opposite. They've ridden it down. Now I'm not saying again that it was worth $595 in June of 2022, but methinks they probably could have sold it for, I don't know, $550, let alone $500, and now here we are at $395,000. So the point is not so much, hey, look what they listed for, that's what it was worth, but rather to suggest, if we look at this again, $595,000, and now we're at $395,000. This is why, among other reasons, I absolutely cannot believe this thing has not sold. So let's go to the next one here, guys. Another unit I cannot believe has not sold, 88 Colgate, unit 612. Now at market peak, and the client that I did this for routinely emails me and says, oh my God, I can't believe it. At market peak, I believe I sold a 1-bedroom in here for like $750,000, and it was a bully offer. And she could not believe it, and neither could I. And I could look that up. I can't remember, but I think it was like 1,400 a square foot. So here we are, guys, and this is not cheap, right? This one here, we're listed at 1,009 a square foot. And you're gonna be like, David, you just told us 823 a square on Stewart, and that was below replacement cost, and now you're telling us 1,009 is good value. It's not that it's good value, but first of all, let's go to the listing here. Guys, it has a parking space. So you've got to compare apples to apples here, or apples to oranges rather, because the one that we just saw didn't. Parking spaces are making a big comeback. And so when I got into the business, every unit had parking, and it was like, well, I don't really drive my car, but I need a place to park it. People would be like, well, I visit my parents in Unionville like once a month, so I want to have my car. Then as real estate got more expensive, people were ditching cars. Developers aren't building spaces because they're loss leaders. Ask any developer, you sell a space in pre-construction for $65,000 now, will cost $200,000 to make. Developers don't want to excavate, it's incredibly expensive. But what I'm finding now in this very difficult condo market, and I mentioned the place we had at Shooter, the only reason we sold that was because it had parking. So you get $370 for a unit with parking at Shooter. That unit's worth 40 grand in the resale market. I don't think we could have sold it for 330. I think if we were at 330 with no parking, it never would have sold. So go back to our friend here at 88 Colgate. Yeah, it's 430,426 square feet. And no, it's not like it's a steal from a price per square foot basis because it's 1,009. But this location's phenomenal. First of all, I'm gonna go to the map here, interrupt myself. This is the heart of Leslieville. Carlisle's always been a very popular street because you've got the 201 Carlisle, right, printing factory, you've got 233, the garment factory. No, this is not a loft conversion, but it's a really cool building. It's across from a little park. This to me is the nexus of the universe as far as Leslieville is concerned. And yeah, from a one bed, one bath perspective, it's got a great layout. It's got a lot of photos of the outside of the building. And then best is, yes, the outside of the door. The biggest waste of photo in the history of MLS. So you look inside, this is faux brick obviously, but it looks pretty nice. It's a decent layout. It's kind of comparable to the one that we just saw at Stewart. I mean, that was 480 square feet. This is 426, but very similar in terms of layout. And it does have an outdoor space. So there, you've got a bedroom. So this isn't a bachelor. No, it's got a real bedroom. And you might say, well, sliding doors doesn't make it a real bedroom. But hang on a second here. Look, it's got a freaking window. Normally you would not have a window there. It would just be the inset bedroom. This is inset, right? There you go, you got a little privacy. But it's not like it doesn't have any natural light, which is one of the biggest, see, there you go, why didn't I just go here? The biggest critiques I have of those inset bedrooms. So, continue along. As I always say, you can't make a bathroom any smaller, right? It's not like make the toilet smaller or the shower smaller, but sure, you can shrink the appliances in the kitchen. You can make the, the snow's not a good sign. We'll come back to that. Of course, you can combine the living, dining, kitchen into a nice little lichen situation. But yeah, the snow tells us things been on the market for a while. So guys, I can't believe this hasn't sold. And let's take a look at the listing history. They were up for $485 in March. They were up for $450 in April. They're now at $430. You might say as an investment like, well, hey, it only rents for $1,750. This was 5 years ago. So regardless of whether you're an investor buying this and renting it out for, I don't know, with parking, $2,100, $2,200 a month, but you look at our location here, it's phenomenal. You look at the style of the building. I like this sort of little mid-rise. Now this is, in my notes, I've got 2014 built, 7 stories, 228 units. It was on the market for 68 days, previously at $450, 29 days at $485. Look, it's got parking. Maintenance fees are $1.07 a square foot. For the life of me, guys, I don't know why this one hasn't sold. Now the next one they actually terminated overnight, but I didn't feel like revising pick 5, so I'm going to continue with it. You can see here, terminated. So 478 King Street West. This is, I believe, Victory Condos. Yes, 12 stories, 179 units. Did we not have a listing in here? We had one of the penthouses with the rooftop terraces that we had a bidding war for at market peak. We had 2 different buyers make offers on it. And that reminds me of the condo that we also had at 5, no, I can't do that. But a young Canadian singer, like not Justin Bieber, but the other guy, most famous ever. Anyways, he was outbidding like an ER surgeon. And it was like, then I told the ER surgeon, like you're bidding against this young cocky pop star. And that pissed him off and they just bid each other up. That was a scene. And that was another penthouse. But it reminds me of the unit that we had in this building too. Because we had like a banker and another doctor. And man, they outbid each other like crazy. 478 King. A 2-story unit, ridiculous rooftop terrace, high ceilings. Oh yeah, now I have to take you back to this one. It's kind of like a crappy 1 bed, 1 bath by comparison. But the point is, guys, I remember when we had that bidding war in this building. I remember when we had the pop star bidding war for 2 million plus just down the street. And now we're sitting here and we're like 549,000 for 660 square feet with parking with a King Street address. Why has this thing not sold? So 95 cents a square. Those are your maintenance fees, 95.6 cents a square. That includes parking. And the price here, guys, because we're 549 and we're 660 square feet, they're asking $833 a square. $833 a square with parking in King West. Now layout. You're looking for reasons this thing isn't moving. Ooh, we got the record player here. Oh, wait till you see the last listing. Okay, you can't click out of this video right now. You got to see the last one. So why is this not moving, right? It's not like we're blocked by another building. You've got a King Street view. You've got a little balcony, right? Here's a nighttime shot. That's great. Here's City Place in the background. It's the first time I'm probably going to say anything good about City Place. And then you've got your inset bedroom, and it looks like you've got semi-ensuite access. 549, 660 square feet. I don't get it. Not sure why this thing hasn't moved. Anyways, it's terminated. So I don't know if they're, oh, I thought it was semi-ensuite. It's a closet. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're going to reduce it. Maybe they're going to rent it. But it's a great address. It's a nice little view here. 4th story. You know, it's not like you're on the 50th floor or anything, but it's not obstructed. It's a good building. Oh, let's see the rest of the photos. Why not? This guy's forever immortalized in the annals of MLS. Yeah, there you go. So the one that we had was up here. This is the one where we got the bidding war on. Man, yeah, that was wild. That was something else. Holy moly. Oh, wow. Is this allowed? No, you're not allowed to do this, by the way. So Treb has these rules. You're not allowed to put up photos that aren't of the property. dis@trebnot.ca. Yeah, then you got some nightlife. That reminds me of when I was young and did stuff. Now I just sit in my basement alone. Yes, I do. Okay, wow, okay. I don't know if these are renderings or if these are actual photos. Regardless, yeah, we get it. You're in downtown Toronto. So let's do this, guys. This is wild. Are you ready for this? Okay. They bought it for $720,000 in January of 2022. That was literally the peak of the market. Listed for $659, sold for $720, now available for $549. So once again, and I did a podcast about market bottom. Go to the Last Honest Realtor or Google it, or Alta Vista. That was an old search engine. Ask Jeeves. Or Bing. Who honestly uses Bing? It's not like the dictionary said you can Bing something, but they added Google as a verb. You can Google something. So the Last Honest Realtor podcast we did not too long ago on finding market bottom. The argument that I was making in this podcast, which you should listen to, is that it's impossible to find the market bottom. It's impossible to wait for it. The only way you can find it is when it's in the rearview mirror. Something like this, having sold for $720, thinking you can pick it up for $520, call me a salesman, but how do you go wrong with that? Yes, it could go to $510 and then to $500, but you have to remember, as I said in my Last Honest Realtor, that this is not just an investment. This is where you are living. So whether it's this unit or something else, consider that me sitting here at 45 years old, okay? 25 was the best time of my life. I paid $277,500 for my first condo. Do you think that if I thought for a minute that I could wait another 6 months and get it for $270,000, that I would have done that? Not a chance. That's 6 fewer months I would have been living downtown and having the best time of my life. So folks, listen to the podcast if you have time. The point I'm trying to make, guys, is that yeah, this thing could go lower, but it's at such a discount. This thing's sold for $720,000. These people are gonna probably take a $200,000 discount. It's a great time to buy. Okay, let's move on to the next one. That one's a little long in the tooth. Oh, this one is what you call a doozy. 426 Queen Street East is one of the prettiest lofts in the city of Toronto. It is located at Queen and Parliament. So you know how in the city of Toronto there's like kind of this pull and one's going this way and one's going this way. Now I don't want to use terms like left and right, but the city's kind of pulled in the left direction and then the right direction, if you know what I mean. So yeah, you know, you watch like a video of Toronto City Council and then they're like, we need more drugs, you know, and like we need more people sleeping in tents in the street. And so, yeah, politics aside. Oh no, go to the comments section. Tell me I'm a jerk. This area's gotten a lot dodgier. Is that not a fair term? So once upon a time, Moss Park was really, really rough. I remember showing a unit in this building, and I'm going back to like '08. Beautiful condo. And I had this young couple, and he pulled up in his little Mercedes, and his girlfriend was hysterical by the time I got there. Yeah, they were accosted by a couple of local folks visiting, whatever social services were set up for them there. And then the realtor went off on a conservative white guy tangent. I don't know what you want me to say. This is a very rough corner. Like, Shooter and Parliament might be one of the roughest corners. Actually, no, Parliament and Gerrard might be. Suffice it to say, unbelievable condo. And with that entire lead in, I'm going to say it's a great price. So let's take a look here, guys. $639, 790 square feet. Guys, this is $810 a square foot. Now, despite my rant here, because there are a lot of people that aren't like me, nice people who don't care about the riffraff, I'll use that word riffraff. At the peak, these things were selling in multiple offers. These things were selling for ridiculous evaluations, and that day will come back, but is not there now. Despite my long rant and my lead in, I cannot figure out why this thing hasn't sold. Look at this photo. If you were to Google or Alexa or Siri, red brick timber ceiling loft, this photo would come up. Big open concept space, floor to ceiling red brick. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I can't figure out why this thing hasn't sold. Now you're gonna be like, well, David, you just told us this is one of the roughest areas in the city of Toronto. People are doing drugs out in the open, sleeping in the streets, fighting. Nothing like a friendly little knife fight on the street corner. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what this area downtown Toronto has become. And this is located not too far away from it. I don't buy the excuse that like they don't have a granite counter, and like this is old. I don't buy that. What I see here is almost 800 square feet of incredible hard loft space, high ceilings, got brick, got beam. It's gorgeous. It's phenomenal. It's $639,000. Yeah, I know the green tile and the old countertop, that's fine. You don't want to renovate. All right, I get it. Who really wants to? But man, with a tiny, tiny bit of TLC, that's a nice photo there. I don't know who's got this one listed, but this is a good listing. It's just a tough location right now in this market, right? So when the market's absolutely ripping, I always say people will accept 7 out of 10 things on their must-have list. When the market's cold, they want 12 out of 10 things, which is to say that they get everything on their list and then they add something at the last minute. An example, like a house has every box checked and more, and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna pass. Really? Why? Well, it doesn't have access to inside the garage from the basement. We've been looking at houses for a year. You've never mentioned that once. In fact, you told me you don't care if it has a garage. Now you need access from inside the house. Yep. And that's what happens in a cool market. So, that analogy aside, I think what we're seeing now is that this is an incredible loft. And if somebody were to go and take a look at this, they'd probably be turned off by the area, or maybe the countertop, or maybe the backsplash. Oh, look at that. They put a little circle to show us where it is. So I love this building, even though it's in a dodgy area. I mean, I'm cool with it. I wouldn't care. But yeah, my story actually was, I remember these folks, they never ended up buying. They like rented forever. But yeah, I remember showing up there, and this is late. It's like 08, 9, 10. And just absolutely hysterical chick standing out front crying because, somebody accosted her. And rightfully so. So this one, guys, has been on the market for 61 days at this price. I can't believe this hasn't sold. Okay, let's move on to the last one here, guys. This is one of my favorites in the entire city of Toronto. This is 68 Broadview, Unit 510. It's the Broadview Lofts. You ready for this? It has parking, $749,900, 810 square feet, $919 a square. $919 a square. So for those of you who don't know where the Broadview Lofts is, I don't know if you're from Toronto, here's Queen and Broadview, Riverside, if you will, and here's prime Leslieville. Guys, take a look at this. Try to get my thoughts together and avoid hyperbole. We have a brick and beam loft. We can't put IKEA in there. We can't put mom and dad's hand-me-downs in there. We have to have cool loft stuff. This table, cool loft stuff. This here, cool loft stuff. A typewriter, a typewriter, a typewriter, and a different kind of typewriter. An old map of Toronto, an old clock, some old flags. Guys, I want this condo and everything in it. An old door. I don't even know what this way is. It says something about soap. Eastern Avenue sign. Guys, oh no, it doesn't have granite countertops. Guys, this Cool Guy loft has cool guy stuff in it. If you're going to buy this loft, you need to take everything that he has in here. Imagine you bought this. Is that a vintage? Come on. You have a vintage fire extinguisher? Although I do feel bad like when there's a fire and your buddy's like, don't worry, I'll get it. And then he pulls it and it's like empty. You're like, wow, what a terrible time to have a vintage fire extinguisher with absolutely no water or foam in it. And then, the whole place lights up. But point is, we haven't even got to it yet. Look, Toronto, North York, these are probably vintage. I'm a collector, I don't know if you know, it's hard to believe I'm kind of a nerd. I collect a lot of things, Jojo men. But this here, I can tell you, this wasn't just printed yesterday. I'm willing to bet this is a North York flag from like the 1940s. Sewing machine, typewriter. You have to buy this guy's stuff. Look at this. Look at this. How has this unit not sold? Oh my God, we've got records. And I don't mean records for like, the record for most annoying David wasn't pick 5. No, I mean like records, like LPs, like vinyl, bro. Look at this. So this is what you do if like you're 25 and you're like really trying to impress a girl, and then you have like this chair and she comes over and you're just like, you actually can't play guitar. But she doesn't need to know that. You just be like, nah, girl, I can't. I just want to hang out with my old cans. The guy's got old tin cans, old records on the wall. Are those compact discs? That's actually not that cool. It's like me having VHS cassettes. But guys, like, is this a working amp? This looks like the one that had little fuses in it that I used to change in like 1986. You got a cool guy trunk? You got a cool guy stool? This guy probably plays guitar. Who's got this listed? Sage. It's probably somebody cool. Cool guys attract cool agents. Look at this. How is this not sold? How? $919 a square, the most cool guy stuff. Oh, maybe you've segmented the market. Is a young female gonna buy this? Anyways, there's still enough guys. You figure some young investment banker that's like, during the day, I wear my sleeves down to the wrist, but at nighttime, I got my sleeve tattoo playing my guitar in front of the Union Jack with all of my typewriters. I think it's cool. But I'm 45. I was cool once, I think. Actually, I was. You know how I know? Because my mommy told me. So yeah, if I was buying this, I would buy every single thing in it. And then when people came over, I would never tell them, and I would just act like I'm the guy that came up with it. Even the vintage door, another old trunk in here. This guy probably went to very great lengths to furnish this place, and if not, he sure had a designer that did it. Look at that. And I'm assuming it's a guy. I just don't feel a feminine vibe coming off of this. Like these old signs here. Wow. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this one, guys. Is that another old sewing machine? Am I wrong, guys? Like, oh, you know what he should have here is like the old shaving brush. Do you guys ever shave like that? Like you make the foam with the little thing? No, I shave in the shower every morning in 30 seconds or less. I just razor my face. Everything's about time. Here, take a look at this. Another set of photos. I don't know. This is like a nighttime shot. This is like he's playing his guitar over here and he's just some girl's just swooning. You're the coolest. Said by no girl to me, ever. Okay, so clearly I want to move in here. Yes. Honey, I'm going away for a couple of days to 68 Broadview Unit 510. I don't know how this isn't sold. All jokes aside, and I wasn't really actually joking, this is the coolest unit I know of in the city of Toronto for $749,900. And guys, this was bought for $799 in 2018. It was up for $779. It's at $749. How has this not sold? So a lot of you are going to say, well, David, because we're in the worst condo market ever. David, because the condo market's in the tank. It's the worst market trough we've ever seen. Okay, yeah, no, I get it. $919 a square. They'll never build more hard lofts like this. This guy, 8 years ago, paid $799 for it, and now it's sitting here at $749.9. So those are 5 units, guys, that I cannot believe have not sold. Some of them we look at reasons, we're like, yeah, okay, maybe I get it, but like the last one, absolutely not. The first one on Stewart, $395,000 for 480 square feet at the Thompson Residences. Just makes no sense to me. So folks, I mentioned in this Pick 5, you should have a listen or watch the Last Honest Realtor podcast. We did this one on how do you find market bottom. Google it if you want to. I think there's some overlap here. If you want to get Pick 5 emailed to you every week directly, go to torontorealtyblog.com/pick5. Go ahead and sign up. We'll send you an email when we launch a new episode, which is usually on Thursdays. Feel free to leave me a comment in the comments section below. I absolutely love reading those. And above all, guys, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.